Hello and welcome back, YouTubers. I'm Protomario, and I wanted to do a news story covering the GameStop's Retro Classic page that they have now. You can get there from GameStop.com/collection/retro/sideways classics if you want to see it. Now, there's a few things I wanted to go over with you on this page, and I'm not painting GameStop in a bad light. They've actually have a very competitive priced thing here, but there are a few things that need to be addressed. First off, I want to talk about what games they actually do have for sale and what they are selling and are willing to take in and what they're trying to do here. So they're only taking 6 big systems: the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Sega Genesis, the Super Nintendo, the Nintendo 64, and the PlayStation, and the Dreamcast. I'm not really sure why the Dreamcast is on here, because that's not super retro. I suppose it is, but it's not very old, and it didn't have a very long lifespan either. Now, there's a couple things that they aren't doing at all. They're not doing the Sega Saturn, they're not doing 3DO, they're not doing obscure consoles like that, like the Virtual Boy or 32X, nothing like that. But one thing that really made me scratch my head and wonder, they're not doing Atari either. So there are no Atari games on here, and I think that has to do with the actual age of Atari being extremely old, and the fact that most of the games sell for, pennies, quarters, and in upwards of $20. It's not that profitable to mess around with Atari, and the systems are very, very old. A lot of people don't even have the deviled prongs that you hook up to the TV for some of these older consoles. They don't have the ColecoVision or Intellivision. They don't have any PC like Apple II things or anything like that. So what do they have? Well, on the front page, they have some interesting games that some people may have played as a kid and might be interested in getting again. Once again, the Sega Genesis is on the lower end, and the Super Nintendo and Nintendo games are on the higher end, just due to rarity and the boxes and things of that nature. I've always known that the Sega Genesis is cheaper, so looking at these prices straight up, it's not outrageous to see what these things are priced at. But they do have good games, and the good games do command a lot of money, guys. They have Chrono Trigger on here for about $90. They have Super Castlevania 4 for about $50. They have Mega Man Legends for $35. It's not surprising, the prices that they have here, and I've compared them to eBay, and the eBay trending price is about what they set their prices at. So this brings up the question, do they set their prices at eBay trending prices? And that would be a serious problem, due to the fact that recently a news story came out where a guy artificially bought a game on the Game Boy. I believe it was called Rampart, and he bought a bunch of these copies on eBay, and he artificially drove the price up himself. So Rampart was originally $4 when he started buying it. No one wanted it. No one cared. It was an obscure game. It didn't bring much money. But now it's at $25 after he bought up quite a few copies. He didn't buy like 1,000 or 100 or anything, but he bought a good amount of these copies, and he artificially inflated the price. A lot of people list their Rampart carts now for $25, even though there's no real demand for it. It was just him, and he did this over the course of less than a year. So the thing about it is that if this one individual can do that, other people can too, and corporations can too, if they want to make money and things like that. So if GameStop gets a game and they want to make more money off it, they could easily have one of their employees over the course of few moments, couple days, weeks, months, and they could drive the price up pretty well if they got a large amount of, let's say, Chrono Triggers, and they want Chrono Trigger to sell for $150 versus $90. Now, I'm not saying they're going to do that. Not at all. I'm not doing that. I'm not trying to paint GameStop in bad light. I'm not making them out to be the bad guys. I'm just saying that this is something that did happen, and it is something that needs to be addressed, and you need to watch out for this stuff. So as far as their website, they have competitive prices on things like the top loader and the Super Nintendo and things of that nature. They're very cheap. The consoles are not where they're making their money. They're making their money on the games, which are very, very expensive. And you can see the prices of the games. Some of the games are very expensive, like Punch-Out is $35. And Dracula's Curse, $25. Some of these games are more than current day games. You could walk into a GameStop right now and you could probably get 10 Xbox 360 games. They're probably not the best, but you could get those for under $10. And here we have one game for $50. Now, it is a legendary game. It's very good. Same with Super Castlevania 4. But you could also emulate these for free on your PC. And if you didn't feel comfortable with that, you could always go and get a Wii U, buy the ROM, and just play it on the Wii U, you know, for a couple bucks. This right here, $50. You could literally buy, I think, either 5 to 10 games on the Wii U for the same price as owning this cartridge right here. Now, the only difference is that you would own this cartridge physically, and you'd have the physical cartridge, whereas on the Wii U it would be a digital download. And I understand the difference, and I understand why people would do that and why people would buy this stuff versus the digital download. But it does bring up concerns and what you're going to spend your money on, but I'm not the boss of you, so if you feel like buying these, that's on you. Just know that they're competitively priced. But again, with the consoles, a bit of advice, I would strongly advise you to get on eBay and buy from a reputable seller and buy a modded console, like a Super Nintendo that can output RGB, because the Super Nintendo can natively put out up to S-Video if you have the cords that can hook up S-Video, and that produces a very clean signal. But old top-loader NESs, they only have a coaxial connection, and old Super Nintendos only have AV. So if you get an RGB mod, and you can connect up to, you know, let's say, I don't know, someone mods it and you can use component cables, or, you know, whatever you decide. Maybe you even get an HDMI one. You can actually hook it up to your modern TV. And those consoles do not cost that much more than the base console itself. And it is worth it because you'll actually be able to use the console, and you'll know if you buy it from a reputable seller that they cleaned it out and they fixed things in it. Capacitors go bad, or, you know, they replace the pins and the NES. It's just a good idea to buy a more modded console and make sure you're getting the proper console so that you don't have to sit there and use the coaxial connection on the top loader. But for almost every other system, I mean, Sega Genesis is still in that same boat too. It does have issues with the graphics, and it does have issues with stereo, so mods do have their place. Just throwing it out there, guys, if you're getting into retro gaming. Now, my question to you, would you buy from GameStop? Would you buy these retro games from GameStop? Because they're literally the same price as eBay. GameStop is not being competitive here. They're just pricing it equally. So they're not getting an edge. They're not undercutting eBay or anything. And it looks like they're just going off the trends of eBay. Would you buy it from them? And do you think that this is going to shut down mom and pop stores due to the fact that they might not be able to control the market anymore? Like, it used to be just mom and pop stores would be able to sell these games when GameStop stopped doing that some years ago. And now that GameStop's getting into this, do you think that those stores are going to go under because now there's a multi-chain company doing it from Australia to Canada? Let me know in the comments below, and I've been your host, Protomario, and I'm signing out. And now, the important decision of joining the Maverick Rebellion. We are a tight group of individuals who rebel against stereotypes and greater evils that are commonly accepted. ISPs, children being conned out of games, sexism in video games. Enough is enough, and the Mavericks have had it. If you choose to subscribe, or stay subscribed, you are joining the fight against injustice by watching my numerous video topics. From net neutrality to publishers covering up botched releases, the Mavericks are always informed on the issues plaguing your gaming experience today. So don't be left out in the cold, and don't let those people keep you down. Join the Maverick Rebellion today and become a member of the community that will listen and engage with you. What are you waiting for? Just click subscribe and you'll be in good company. Mavericks unite!